doing a keto tomato basil soup, and I don't follow mine by the recipe because I don't use fresh onions and garlic, but I will tell you by the recipe of how to do it. So first you need 2 tablespoons of butter, melt in a pot with your onion, and you need 1/4 cup of onion, and then once your onion's cooked, you need to add your garlic clove to it, and you need 2 garlic cloves. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my onion and my garlic clove off camera because I'm actually using my phone to film because my camera's dead. Right, so now that I've cooked the onions and the garlic, which you did not see, you did that off camera, you then add, which I just added, if you can see, 10 tomatoes, but I forgot to buy tomatoes, so I used a jar of tomatoes, like the ones you buy in the can, so it's actually a can of tomatoes. And then you add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, and a teaspoon of basil. And then 1 tablespoon of tomato paste and 3 cups of water. You start and bring it to a boil, which is what we're doing right now. So once you've brought it to a boil, well, we'll wait until it's to a boil and then I'll explain the rest. So once your soup has come to a boil, you can either take it off the stove and put it in a blender, and if you used tomatoes, I would. If you used canned tomatoes, I'd probably keep it on the stove because they're already small as you really want them. Add your sweetener, which in my case, this is stevia, or stevia, however you want to say it, and it's 1 teaspoon, and then 1/3 cup of heavy cream. And I did taste it before I even added this, and if you don't want to add heavy cream or sweetener, it tastes good without it. And stir it up. And at this point, you don't really have to have the stove eye on anymore. And then the last is 2/3 a cup of feta cheese, which I'm going to add into it to make it more creamy. 2/3 a cup of feta cheese crumbles. You can kind of see them at the end of right there. And I did turn the stove eye off, but it's still hot, so it's going to melt anyway and make this much more creamy. Alright, and that's it. You can eat it by itself or bake some chicken and eat it with chicken. I'm eating it by itself, so I'm doing 2 cups or 2 scoops. And if you can add more salt to it, but I think it's pretty much perfect. So that's it for the keto tomato bisque. Again, here's all the ingredients you need. 10 tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/4 cup of onion, 2 cloves of garlic, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of sweetener, I use stevia, 3 cups of water, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, a 1/3 cup, I'm sorry, 1/3 cup of heavy cream, and 2/3 a cup of feta cheese. And again, You cook the onion with the butter for about 2 minutes, and then add the garlic clove. Cook for about 1 minute. Add your salt, pepper, paste, tomatoes, and water. Cook it until it boils. If you use regular tomatoes, I would stick it in a blender. If you don't and use canned tomatoes, keep it on the stovetop and add your heavy cream and your feta cheese and your sweetener, and just kind of mix it up until it melts. And then it's ready to serve. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.